Hello, and welcome to Lamplighter. Today is February 24th. In our daily Bible reading today, we continue to read the very specific laws that God is giving to his people, the nation of Israel, through Moses. Remember, the nation of Israel is being established for the very first time. They have left their bondage in Egypt. They have wandered in the wilderness. Those wilderness wanderings are about to come to an end. They are about to embark upon the promised land of Canaan, and God is preparing them to be his people. He wants to be their God as they enter this promised land. And so all the preparations are being made, not only physically, but most importantly, spiritually, so that the people will be prepared to enter the land of Canaan and claim it as their own. Now, we've already looked at a number of specific commands God has given, but today, as we continue to plod through the details of the law, I want you to pay particular attention to what these laws are teaching us even today about the nature and the character of God. What is important to him then? What is important to him now? And is it significant that we notice these details in the text as we read today? For example, today's text starts with the whole idea of the holiness of the priests. Anyone who serves as a priest must be holy. The priest, you see, is the representative of the people to God. The priest is the one who will make the appeal of the people to God. The priest is the one who will be offering the sacrifices on behalf of the people to God. You see, he is a liaison. And because God is holy, the priest must be holy. And so there are very specific details here given about how the priest dresses, about how the priest maintains his physical appearance, about how the priest conducts himself in life. Every detail seems to be measured out because it is critically important that he be holy. It affects his relationships with other people. It affects his relationships even with his own family. He must do everything he can to remain pure, to remain clean, to not touch anything that is unholy or unclean. That's why even those who have flaws in their physical makeup, those who may have handicaps of one sort or another, are not qualified to be priests, because it's so important that the priest be holy. Why? Is God just being biased? Is God being unfair? God is trying to communicate his own holy character. Let's not miss that. So the unclean is not to touch what is holy. God is demonstrating a certain distance. Yes, we've already seen how God wants to dwell among his people. God wants to be close to his people. He wants to be in the center of his people in the tabernacle. But at the same time, he wants to maintain this sort of holy otherness. He wants to be distinct. He wants to be recognized as the God and Father of all, who is over all, who is above all, who is through all in this theocratic nation. So though God wants to be close to his people, he also expects his people to revere him, to honor him as holy. So all of the specific indications of the priests are for that reason. The priest, and only the priest and his family, is allowed to eat the sacred food. Everything has to be kept under close control. Then as we continue to read, we read about the sabbatical year, which is a fascinating concept. This is the idea that there's going to be a year every seventh year. Just as the Sabbath day is every seventh day that is holy, and on that day no one is to work because it is a day dedicated to rest. It's a day dedicated to focus on God. The same is true of the sabbatical year. Every seventh year is to be designated as holy. It is to be a year of rest for the land, No crops are to be planted. No crops are to be reaped. Everything is to be left alone in year 7. It's a way that God has to, first of all, sort of replenish the land, but secondly, to demonstrate that even the land belongs to Him, and because of that, that land is holy. And this is every 7-year reminder to the people of that very truth. Now you may wonder, well, what do the people eat in year 7? And God says, I've taken care of that, much like He did, by the way, with the provision of manna. He says, I'm going to give you so much produce in year 6. I'm going to bless you so bountifully that you're going to have plenty to eat for year 6. You're going to have plenty to eat for year 7 when the land lies in rest. And you're even going to have plenty to eat in year 8 to give you time to replant the crops and for them to produce. So God says, I will take care of you during this waiting, during this resting period. Again, notice what God is doing. This story is about Him. He is making sure His people are depending on Him for all of their sustenance. Then we start to read of the year of Jubilee. It comes every 50 years. He says, count off 7 years of 7 Sabbath years. 7 times 7 is 49, and add a year to it. He says in 50 years, it will be the year of Jubilee. Now, this is a fascinating concept as well. It is a year-long Jubilee beginning on the Day of Atonement, and it emphasizes redemption. Inheritances are restored, slaves are set free, land is either repurchased or returned. Everything kind of starts new. Everything starts over, and it's really pointing to something bigger that will happen much later when God is going to provide the spiritual redemption of His people made possible through the coming Messiah. Now, during this time when land is sold, it is to be sold based on how many years it has been or it will be to the year of Jubilee. And he emphasizes the fact that you're really not selling property. You're selling the number of crops. So the price is determined by how many crops are left to be harvested before the next year of Jubilee when the land goes back to the previous owner. God is providing plenty for the people to think about and to focus on as He tries to determine in their minds that He is their God. This is a theocratic, God-focused, God-believing, God-following nation. So the land is never sold permanently. Why? God says, because the land, He says, is mine. Even when dealing with slaves, slaves can be redeemed. Slaves are set free in the year of Jubilee because God wants to provide a constant reminder to His people that everything on this earth is temporary. Everything belongs to Him. We even sing the song today, don't we? This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. And we talk about how I can't feel at home in this world anymore. That's the idea. We sing the song, but the question is, do we truly believe it? Nothing in this life is permanent. Everything in this life, including ourselves, belongs to God. And the quicker we start to recognize that, the quicker we start to understand that and live accordingly, the happier we'll be. God will provide. God will give us the things He has promised. God is going to take care of those who are faithful and obedient to Him. If we put our confidence, our trust, and our hope in Him, even today, God says, not to worry. I will provide. I will give you a life that is unimagined by anyone in this life. It is going to be the greatest gift ever. Isn't it great to be a lamplighter? His word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. I hope you have a blessed day.